Hello everybody, my name is Tyler. Now, from my opponent speaking, it's clearly obvious that tuition is increasing. Kim Clark from CNN Money states that public university tuition fees alone rose 4.8% to $8,655 in 2010-2011. So we know that tuition is increasing, costs are going up. And he said that student loans are the cause for this increase, but he doesn't take into account the other sources that will cause tuition to go up. The first one of these is spending. A quote from Dylan Matthews from the Washington Post states that one is the college spends more. That could mean paying faculty more, or building more sports arenas, or conducting more research. Whatever the reason, spending rises, and they ask students and their families to pick up the tab in the form of higher tuition and or lower financial aid. So schools are going to spend more if schools are going to spend more. We know that they're going to spend more if they have the ability, and that clearly is going to bring tuition up. So why would they spend more? What are the reasons? The first one is the competition, right? Schools are trying to be the best. Ronald Ernberg from Cornell says, to look better than their competitors, the institutions wind up in an arms race of spending to improve facilities, faculty, students, research, and instructional technology. And we actually have a case of this here on campus at Cal Poly, right? The Bronco Rec Center, I don't know if you guys know about that building over in the behind the suites there, is this is directly from ASI. The construction and operation of the BRIC will cost $57 million and will be funded by raising the Bronco Student Center fee by $140 per quarter. So this is actually going to cost us. This is a raise for tuition that we're seeing right now that is a cost that the school is putting out. So that's part of the reason why spending hurts, right? And so how do they handle when they need to spend more? They need to raise tuition, right? Again, Ronald Ernberg from Cornell says that with long lines of high-quality applicants flocking to their doors, top institutions have chosen to maintain and increase quality largely by spending more, not by increasing efficiency, reducing costs, or reallocating funds. And so when colleges spend more, which they often do and clearly are, they raise tuition to compensate for that. But spending is one thing, right? Schools are able to reduce spending. You can stop spending money if you have to. That's not a requirement. You don't have to spend money to be a school, or at least you don't have to spend more money to be a school. So what else is there that causes increases in tuition? My opponent actually stated it for me. Supply and demand is a huge factor in increasing the cost of going to college, right? More kids are going to college than ever before. The College Board stated that the total number of undergraduate students in the U.S. increased from 20.7 million in 2002-2003 to 22.3 million in 2007-2008, and again to 24.8 million in 2012-2013. So more people are going to college, more and more people are going to college, and that's a good thing. We want more people to go to college. However, supply is fairly limited, right? You can't just increase the size of a campus, willy-nilly, unless you're going to spend some money, which that's a problem in and of itself. So with limited supply and high demand, we're going to have to do something in order to select, right, which students come to college, and one of the ways to do that is increasing tuition, making it, raising the bar, right, to get into college. So that is another reason, right? One of the biggest factors, however, apart from supply and demand and spending, is actually government support to colleges. And again, Kim Clark from CNN Money states that the College Board's economists estimate that financial aid budgets stayed flat, leaving students less money to cover rising college costs. As a result, the net price, the cost after scholarships, grants, and federal tax benefits that in-state students at public colleges will pay this year rose 4.6% to an average of $16,510. So the government which gives schools money to, continue operating, is not giving money to the schools, right? And so now they need to cover either the spending that they're doing or these increases that they have, and how they do that, they raise tuition. And we know the price is going up. I hope I've shown you at least a little bit that tuition is increasing. But how bad is tuition increasing? Well, fairly badly. My opponent stated that it was going up, Cal Poly's went up to 188% over the last 10 years. That's pretty ridiculous. But he's not the only one that knows this. Dr. Philip Yeagle from the Huffington Post states that, in fact, the trend lines for state support and for tuition are mirror images of each other. State support steadily decreases and tuition steadily increases. Over the past 20 years, the average state funding per full-time student in public universities has decreased by nearly $2,000 adjusted for inflation. So, student loans are required at this point. We know that college is expensive, we know costs are rising. What can we do, right? Well, there are some alternatives. There's scholarships, there's grants, there's tax benefits that my opponent stated. However, all of these things together aren't enough to give you what you need to go to college, right? Scholarships, the average scholarship award is less than $3,000. Full rides, according to Lynn O'Shaughnessy, account for less than 1/2% of all students going to college. Only 36% of students receive Pell Grants, so grants aren't enough. Grants and scholarships are not enough. And FinAid for student loans actually states this: few students can afford to pay for college without some form of education financing. 2/3, 65.6% of four-year undergraduate students graduated with a bachelor's degree and some debt in 2007-2008. The average student loan debt among graduating seniors was $23,186. Thank you.